Well, it had been a fun few weeks in Oregon, but with fall fast approaching, I had to get going. I wanted to continue exploring the Pacific Northwest before the rain and snow started to hamper my outdoor activities. The plan for my Oregon farewell journey was to head north toward Mount Hood to check out Tamanawas Falls, a picturesque waterfall. Then meet a friend at Hood River, a beautiful town on the Columbia River that is a favorite spot for kite surfers. After that, I was going to spend the night at a friend's place in Portland before heading north into Washington to get to my next temporary home, Seattle. Transit weekends are always a stressful time for me, but I was finally able to find the parts needed to mount a cargo carrier on the top of my roof, giving me some much needed space inside my car. So, with an action-packed weekend to look forward to, I grabbed my stuff and set off into the wilderness. Recent fires, followed by heavy rains, had made me concerned that the Tamanawas Falls Trail might be closed as a precaution against mudslides.
Well, I didn't see anything saying that the trail was closed. And I'm seeing a bunch of other people here, so I think it's fine. I don't think it's going to be unsafe.
The hike to the falls was an easy and colorful one, and the drizzly atmosphere really brought out the smells of the forest.
Watch out, buddy.
As a San Diego boy, rain and drizzle is still a novel experience for me. I mean, let's be honest, back in Southern California we only really get a few days of rain per year. Plus, I was the last person to complain about a little bit of rain. After all, getting drenched in falling ice-cold glacier water has started becoming a weekly goal of mine. I finally arrived at the waterfall and was quite impressed.
Wow. It's coming down with a lot of force. Look at that. Oh, hell yeah.
It might not be as tall as Salt Creek Falls, but it's nestled in its own little cove and super accessible. You can even walk 360 degrees all around Tamanawas Falls. And I didn't even have to swim to get to its base. Once the exploration phase was done, it was time for my baptism, where Mother Earth could cleanse my sinful body with that fresh, holy glacier water of hers. I just wasn't sure if she'd have enough to get the job done.
Oh boy, that was cold. Coming down hard.
What a great way to start off the weekend. I highly recommend checking out Tamanawas Falls if you're in the area. The trail is even easy enough that kids and older hikers should have no problem completing it.
Got so pretty with all the colors. Got your reds, got your yellows. Up in the sky, it's nice and blue. And of course, you got plenty of your greens as well. Love it.
I almost wish I could stay at Tamanawas Falls all day, but I had a schedule I had to stick to, so I headed back to the car and got going off to Hood River.
Trusty vehicle. You made it.
The late September weather may not have been the sunniest, but the weather was kind enough not to send any torrents my way. Once I got to Hood River, I started to do some exploring and loved the atmosphere of the small town. I caught a quick bite on an outdoor patio, then went to check out the kite surfers. Even in the mediocre weather, the river was littered with dozens of kite surfers. The sport looks fun, but also looks like it takes a lot of work to transport the gear and get set up. Still, they all looked like they were enjoying themselves. This had been my first real view of the Columbia River Gorge, and holy moly, it is beautiful. The settlers coming along this river a couple hundred years ago really must have thought they'd made it to the promised land. After finishing up my exploration of Hood River, I started heading west toward Portland, but not before finding a more secluded turnoff to really take in the area's beauty. Again, the sun's rays were piercing through the clouds, creating beams of light that looked like they had been sent by the old man upstairs. If I had come on this trip to enjoy the natural splendor of the region, I felt like I was getting one hell of a dose today. Honestly, I may have to come back and take a boat ride down the river someday. I was able to make it to Portland with time to spare. The downtown area was still looking a bit rough, especially with the election only a little over a month away. And I was delighted to be able to spend the night with a couple of friends from back home. I woke up very early on Sunday morning and decided to keep pushing towards Seattle. I was excited to see what my next hometown would look like.
Lift, handle, start fueling. Made our way into Washington, and boy, it feels good to be able to pump my own gas, not have some random touching my car like they do in Oregon. I look up in the sky and I don't see a single cloud. So I am stoked and I'm excited. This is the third state in our trip, and we're already off to a good start.
Both Mt St Helens and Mount Rainier are somewhat along the way, but I had already been to Mount Rainier when I was a child, so I opted to check out the infamous Mt St Helens. It's now been 40 years since the mountain had its last major eruption, which killed 57 people. But the geological scars are still visible. The eruption was triggered by a massive landslide, causing it to push out its smoke and debris laterally. The area of the landslide is still very visible, but it also gives the visitor a glimpse into the mountain's caldera. Unfortunately, I wouldn't have enough time to hike up or around the mountain, but I was happy enough to visit the site of the US's most destructive volcanic eruption and check it off my bucket list. On the way out, I decided to take a dip in the nearby Coldwater Lake. Strangely enough, the water wasn't very cold, but maybe that's just because it was still September. Or maybe I had just been earning my stripes from all my polar bear plunges. Maybe they should have called it Clearwater Lake instead. Then again, maybe that name doesn't really fit either. I mean, I felt dirtier coming out than I did going in. Oh well, you win some, you lose some. I was finally on the home stretch to Seattle. As I got closer, I just couldn't help but be absolutely amazed by Mount Rainier. Much like Mount Shasta, it's so prominent on the horizon that it's no wonder the mountain has been so closely associated with the region. It's also no surprise that Bigfoot has decided to call the beautiful area home, even if it is a little hard to find his address. I had made it. Now, if I could only make sure I had a good co-working spot, gym, place to shower, place to sleep at night, and place to do laundry. Then again, with such a beautiful city, that could wait until tomorrow.
Hey guys, it's Kylan here. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and consider sharing on social media. If you want to see where I'm heading next on my adventure, hit that subscribe button. Thank you.